Hi, my name is Paul Brown, and I go by the FPV pilot name of Lewis P. Floyd. I'm making this companion video to my response to the FAA and the NPRM to tell them that I don't believe what they're doing or proposing is going to help in any way. And these are the reasons why I think so. First is safety. Please provide evidence. What I mean by that is the FAA has not provided any evidence, or has done any risk assessment management to understand what they're trying to regulate. This bird strike study is one bit and parcel that they have ignored, and it's a useful study. Have you done any further research is what I want to ask the FAA on this study, or have done your own study like this. For safety, again, there's been no deaths. In the past 10 years, the multirotors, I've been flying for 4 years, there has been no one that has died as a direct result of multirotor flight. Whether it's on the ground, in the air, nowhere. In the world, the data shows that the risk is extremely low, especially with that bird strike analysis that I just spoke of. With that being so low of a risk, and then multirotors not flying as much or in flocks or in formations, poses even less of a risk to manned aviation, especially when we stay manned aviation above a certain AGL and all drone and commercial and hobbyist flight below a certain AGL. And besides, there's far more important things that the FAA can be doing for safety right now. The present system we have works, like I alluded to a moment ago. Keep everybody in their lanes. Reliance on a system that potentially could go down would put all aircraft in jeopardy. Again, the present system works. If we were to enact what the FAA wants, if any one of those three prongs go down, the three prongs being, I think it's like GPS, integration of the flight. So in other words, the drone has to know where the plane is, and the plane has to know where the drone is. And then the third prong, I believe, is the management of all of that and somebody taking a look at it. If any one of those three go down, chaos. Staying in our lanes, no chaos. And if that does happen, I ask, how will the FAA deal with this? Where is the comprehensive risk assessment? Do you know what's at risk if you haven't done the risk management or assessments yet? If you have, can we see it? Can we look at it? Again, keep manned aircraft 500 AGL and anything else 400 AGL and below, and we won't have a problem. We haven't had any problems so far. All right, so going on to security. Is it really for security that we're imposing these rules? Here's why I don't think it is, because you could kind of debunk this. First of all, we need proof. So far, anything bad that can be done with a flying drone can be done better with almost anything else. A flying drone as a delivery system for something nefarious is not at all reliable. It could crash. It could malfunction. The pilot could be a poor pilot. There's just so many places that this would be a poor delivery use system for use. We need more proof here too. If you have it, please let us see it. Is it justifiable? These are words from somebody else, from XJet, from another YouTuber who has put a lot of thought into this, and I want to echo this sentiment. And let me read it here. We don't see the actual use of an item to commit a terror act as justification for restricting that item or requiring it to be registered, be identified, and linked to a network when in use, or even need to have a license for it. What he's talking about, and what we can remember, is the Boston attacks with pressure cookers. Instance right there. There weren't lists of people after that happened who bought pressure cookers. There wasn't a need to get a license to use a pressure cooker after that happened. This is not justifiable. This is punishing a bunch of people for the bad actors that are inevitably out there in wanting to be bad actors with whatever they have and can have to be a bad actor with. Putting these rules out won't stop those people. Prove it. So far, I see little evidence. The evidence is insufficient for the removal or further suppression of model aircraft. As I just said, we need more proof. And in order to prove it, you need to do a risk assessment and figure out exactly what is at risk here. And right now, the FAA, you don't know what's at risk because you haven't done any analysis, any further analysis that we have seen, at least. If you have, let's see it. All right. Moving on to accountability. Accountability, yes, we all need to be accountable for this. And one of the things that the FAA is going to do is not make us accountable by pushing through the rules that aren't good, that aren't any better than the system that we actually have and that is working in place already. You're not gonna make it work any better by doing this. You're not going to befriend the people that are working and doing this hobby responsibly. Gosh, for 60 years plus, aerial model RC has been around and has not caused a problem. 10 plus years of people tinkering and creating multirotors has not been a problem. What's been a problem is the fact that there's money to be made out of it, or perceivably money to be made out of it. Lobbying has happened. If that's the case, then let us know that, and don't just take our rights away. Let's work together to make it work. You need to be accountable just as much as we need to be accountable. You need to let us know, FAA, who's trying to deepen their pockets and why. And if so, how can we make it all work together? That's the transparency that we need and the accountability that we need. Let me move on. So we need to have this. We need to have the FAA put forth procedures, but again, it needs to be adequate risk assessment driven and for the best implementation at all. I mean, we need accountability, yes, but we need to do it in the right way. The mechanism in which we do it, again, we already have something that's in place that is working. Who do we make accountable? Well, the hobbyists have proven for the past 10 plus years, the multirotors at least, the drone flyers, and 60 plus years for just model aviation in general, are safe. That's the precedent. That's the proven track record. If there's something otherwise, please show us. What is the commercial drone or fixed wing commercial safety record like? Have you done that yet? Have you looked at that? Have you assessed that? Because if washing machines are going to be delivered by Amazon drones over my neighbor's house, shouldn't we know if that's risky or not? And that's where it's going to go to if there is no risk assessment. And the mechanism for that needs to be put in place so that we're all safe. And there just isn't that yet, and we need more work to be done. Is it justifiable? Well, it's not justifiable to punish the masses just for a few. That that says a lot. The rules have to be justifiable, and it has to be not effectively phasing out or placing a prohibition on a hobby, because people will continue to fly. People will continue to do this regardless of these rules. But if you put rules in place that they can logically and justifiably follow, they will. They will. That's why I'm a part of the AMA. That's why I've registered my drone. That's why I've done all that I've done reasonably, justifiably to fly safe. I will continue to do that. Brings me to my final thoughts. The innovation, man, if this innovation will be stifled, innovation has come from the hobbyists in most crucial industry fields, from 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 NASCAR to NASA, model aviation, rocket. It's just all going to be wrecked if people can't go out with their kids and fly. This NPR goes through. This If this NPRM goes through, uh, as is, we'll lose the ability to keep up with those who have not been regulated out of it. We won't be able to engage in this or have people engage in this great hobby to innovate, to create the new, best, coolest thing. And besides which, who's going to fix all of these things when they break? These drones that we want to put in the sky to take the hobbyists out of. Who's going to fix the drones? Who's going to program the drones? Who's going to do that? We don't have an education pipeline for that if we go through with this NPRM. Speaking to the loss of innovation, education will suffer too. STEM and STEAM and the like will be adversely affected by the NPRM. Schools will lose the edge to teach students how to build, program, and pilot these flying robots. I know I teach this stuff. I'm a music teacher, but my school tapped me to teach drones and how to pilot and how to do new things with them. We haven't even thought of all the cool things that we can do. If we can't, we won't. And this NPRM will definitely make sure that we won't. Lastly, thank you. Thank you to XJet for letting us be a part of his voyage of RC and telling us all the cool things that he does, and then also educating us. And thank you for going through and posting your video, for which I based my video on, to make it most effective, especially with what he's going through personally. And he knows what I'm talking about. Number two, thank you to everybody, UFDA, who organized it, Epoch, Bot Grinder, Ladrib, Rotor Riot, anybody that went to Washington, D.C. to protest. Thank you. I'm sorry I couldn't go. Money, time, work, distance, unreasonable excuses. But that's why I'm making this video. I hope it makes an impact. And third, thank you to anybody who made a response, a video, or anything to combat them taking away our hobby for no reason. Work with us, let us do our thing, and we're going to make cool things together. And I feel that this NPRM will stifle innovation, won't help safety, won't do any of the things that it intends to do. But it will kill the hobby, and it will kill innovation, and that's the price we'll pay. I hope it isn't. Thanks.